This video will be the first part of a series about how to hand letter and is going to cover some of the basic strokes that you'll need to learn in order to hand letter successfully. View these basic strokes as the building blocks to lettering. You need to learn these before advancing on to do with the alphabet. We're going to start with the downstroke, which is the easiest of the strokes and used in all letters. We'll then go on to the upstroke, which is tricky but also used in all letters, so it's really essential to learn. After that is the stroke in the shape of a U, which merges the use of both thick and thin strokes. Then we have the inverted U. These strokes look similar but can feel slightly different when lettering. The next one isn't a stroke so much as it is good practice, as it puts what you've learnt into action. Finally is this O shape, which is the trickiest of the bunch. Right, let's get started. First things first is the downstroke. Holding your brush at a slight angle, apply a bit of pressure. If you're unsure how much pressure to apply, build up the pressure until it feels right to you. Remember that these pens are designed for some pressure to be applied. Hold your brush like this and try not to have it directly overhead when you're writing to reduce the chance of fraying. Next up is the upstroke. It's in the name. With this one you obviously move up rather than down, but unlike the downstroke, the pressure is much lighter because you want to achieve thin strokes. However, if you're too light it will look patchy, so just make sure with this one to practice lots and stick with it. With this one, I hold the pen at a slightly different angle. It's very slightly higher but not overhead, as I mentioned before, because that will fray the pens. Now onto the U stroke. This one took me a lot of practice due to the transition between the downstroke and the upstroke. I recommend trying not to think of them as two separate movements rather than one fluid motion, otherwise the transition won't be so smooth. Because of the transition, you'll have to adjust your hand whilst writing, or it will be hard to get a distinctive thick and thin stroke. Now onto the reversed version of the U stroke. You may find one easier than the other, but both are equally important. I personally prefer this one. Once you've practiced both separately, try them both together into one really fluid motion. This one could be quite fun and put your skills into practice, so enjoy. Next is this O shape. Use a curved downstroke and then transition to a curved upstroke, going back round to connect. This one's tricky, so make sure to practice. Now my advice to you is to get to work and keep on practicing. It will be tricky at first, so make sure to stay persistent. I'd recommend keeping your early practice work, then whenever you feel like you're not making progress, you can look back and realise how much you've actually achieved. I'd also recommend going slowly as it makes things easier. I'll link all the recommended resources down below in the description. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like. As I mentioned earlier in the video, this will be part of a series, so make sure to subscribe, and thank you for watching.